Hello world, welcome to the journalist chat today. And today we have a very special guest from Cox's Bazar, and we have a guest, the people, those who have wonderful contribution in the Rohingya crisis, and they are the people who basically interpret for the world. You know, around the world, isn't more than 100 international agency and national agency cover the Rohingya crisis, but they are the people who work behind the screen. So please welcome our guest tonight. Hello, hi, Kaisar, how are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you, brother?
Yeah, fine. Hey, hi, Mamun. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. So, Kaiser, I'd like to if you both of you introduce yourself, I think that will be amazing, and the audience will be happy. Kaiser, you can start first.
Thank you, Shudabhai. So this is Kaisar Hamid. I am from Karsas Bazar, and I have experiences working with refugee, last exodus with many national, international agencies, news agencies like PBS News Hour, New York Times, Guardian, and other stuffs. And then I take initiative to serve youth development. So this is my introduction right now. Thank you.
Yeah, Abdullah Mamun.
Uh, um, Thank you so much for giving me the floor. This is Abdullah Mamoon. I'm from Cox's Bazar. I have worked in the Rohingya context since 2017. Work with numerous vast number of media like Al Jazeera, UNHCR Communication, Sky News, and so many.
Yeah, and thank you. So it is a huge pleasure for both of you here. So Kaiser Hamid, I'd like to ask you one thing. Like all the world, even after the 1971, the history of Bangladesh. I mean, after the 1971, international media first cover in huge amount of media. They cover Cox's Bazar. They covered the Bangladesh even more than 1971. So in this context, the people, those who are, you guys are working in the ground and you interpret for a lot of international media. So if I ask you, what was your experience and how you started that, and when you first heard about the Rohingya complex and Rohingya crisis?
So thank you. So definitely this is the very big issue.
Yes.
So
So yeah, thank you. And yeah, we are
yeah.
audience. We are basically waiting for our another special guest, Mahbub Akhtar Sweetie. So Sweetie, if you please introduce yourself to my audience, so that will be amazing.
Thank you so much for having him here, Baya, first of all. And Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Ramadan Kareem. This is Mahbub Akhtar Sweetie. Um, working as a CWC, a personal assistant in an UN agency. And besides that, I'm a founder of Women Empowerment Organization. That's all about me.
Wow, amazing. So Kaiser, yeah, you can start to give the answer to the audience. The question was like, we know the Rohingya complex and also the Rohingya crisis, and around the world it was the headline. Not only in Asia, even a lot of international media they covered the Rohingya crisis. So you worked from the very beginning. So what was your experience?
So thank you. Uh, so especially if I would like to say about the Rohingya crisis. Actually, it was happened 25 August, and on this issue, actually, this is the very biggest actually crisis in the world, especially for the refugee, and definitely the many national international agencies, especially the covered the issues. And from our side, actually, who we are from Cox's Bazar, so we young professionals who have started the journey with working for international media. So actually, if I tell from my side, actually, I was the eyewitness, how the people coming to Bangladesh and through the persecutions by the military. And actually, you know that in that time, in 27 August in 2017, that time I was working for New York Times with Adam, a photographer of New York Times. Actually, that time, and we went to the border, so it was working 4 hours. It's called the Amtoli in front of the road of the Kutupalang High School. And that time we see that the how people living their own country, and they are just belonging their the things, and also we see that they are crying, and even they work for like more than 15 days, 14 days, 16 days, and even the are not able to talk to us. When we tried to interview them, that time even they are not able to talk to them, that they don't have such kind of energy. And even we saw that some of the people, the old people, are carried by the other, the energetic person, and it was like the so terrible. And but this time also, for my side, as I am also young, and this is my still, this is the very biggest exodus in my eyes. And I don't still, how many years later we will say again, but I don't want to say again the kind of persecutions. But definitely, the contribution of international media covering the issues is really amazing, because of the for the things actually the many people came forward to help them. And of course the UN agency, other agencies, they got the more funding to help them. Actually, we cannot deny the contribution of the media, what they played role to cover the things, because of the people the world will know through the media, because of this is the media role. And also sometimes we saw that the media person, the correspondent, the photographer, the producer, actually that did a lot hard working during the covering the things. And also the definitely we have to acknowledge our the government contribution to the support the Rohingya to enter the Bangladesh. And also the, even if I tell that about our Bangladeshi people, actually before coming the
I mean,
international people,
especially the host community people.
yeah, especially the host community people, they came first forward to help the to feed the people, because of in that time we did not see any international figures. Yes, UNHCR and other UN agency working before, but in that time, the last exodus, we saw that the contribution, the hard trying contribution of the host community, they come forward at the what they have, actually what they had, they just contributed to them and distributed them. Even they have the clothes, foods, even the water, whatever they have. Then later, the international people come here to donate
Yeah,
them.
Kaiser,
So
just I'll back to
actually,
you again.
yeah,
I'll back to
yeah.
you. So, Moon, if I ask you, like, and I also know, like, you have been working from the very beginning as a young professionals, and you work with a lot of international medias. So, what was your experience, and what was the first assignment you have done, Mamun?
Oh, thank you. Through the media, the host community people was the first responder, and when then the international media came, what is going on the Bangladesh Myanmar border, and by international media they saw, and they caught their eyes in the Rohingya context in the border area. The people were pouring, like thousand people were pouring every day inside the Bangladeshi border. That was the biggest incident I have ever seen in my life. And people like were they can't even explain they have gone through in last few days. And they have even uh, crossed, like to cross the border, like 15 days, 10 days, and they are very disappointed and very traumatized.
Yeah, I think that was the experience. I mean, the people, those who work, I mean, from Cox's Bazar, and those who assist the international media and also the international producer. And I think the people, those who you work in the ground, in you guys are the eyewitness, and because of you guys able to translate it, all these things together. Sometimes I feel this is a kind of the suicidal informations, like when you heard like something happen inside, but you have to translate, and you know what's going on, and you know the expressions and also the language of that. And I mean, that's the experience. I feel like this is kind of life things happen. So, Sweetie, we all know you, and because you have a wonderful and amazing experience with a lot of international celebrities, and also you were from the very beginning. So, how was that? And we all are curious to know about that.
Well, thank you so much for the floor. First of all, I would like to really say that I didn't see the war between Pakistan and Bangladesh, but in 2017, I saw a very short picture of the war, what is like humanitarian disaster. I first of all, I was working with medical teams, and you know what, the feeling what I was having while I was working with the Rohingya people, it was really mental. I was having lots of mental stress because of their diseases, their symptoms, and there are lots of women who are raped by the Myanmar military, which was really horrible for me because I was the in my early age. I never imagine that I will have someone in front of me and who have been raped by the some people forcefully, and I will have to conduct or I will have to deal with them, and they are not even stable. So it was really horrible. And then after medical, while I was working with Medical Teams International, I have also worked with BBC World News, with a team of BBC World News British team. Actually, that assignment was very stressful for me because I was translating for the women who are being using for the prostitution, like forcefully. The story was very horrible, and the girls were crying a lot that please save us if you have the power. And you know what, I was the woman who was feeling that I don't have power. I wish I could have the power to save them and take them with me at my home. If I had the capacity, I could carry, like I could bring them at my home, and I would keep them. But I didn't have the power, and they were crying. I couldn't even cry because we, the interpreters who works for translating or interpreting, we cannot show sympathy. We need to show empathy at any cost, whatever happens. So I was feeling I should cry, but for maintaining the professionalism, I thought no, I should keep. And then when later I finished the interview, I rushed to the washroom and I was crying and saying that
Oh,
there is another world which I didn't see. Like the women, the girls who is even younger than me are being used as a prostitute actors. So that was
yeah.
very horrible. And also I worked with some rape. I have interpreted for the some rape victims, war babies, and also the prostitutes. So in the journey of Rohingya, humanitarian disaster, I have had very hard moment to translate lots of sensitive words, lots of sensitive symptoms to the doctor. So I think it was really an amazing situation that I had, a chance to deal with sensitive issues, but it was also very hard to, deal all those things and interpret, maintaining empathetic way.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, this is a kind of heavy experience you have. That's why I started the one of the term is called the suicidal informations and how. I mean, when the people in the ground, when they're conducting the interviews, and in the meantime, they know what's happening. But when you are translating to the others, translating for the others, but that person are not able to understanding the same emotions and same expressions and how the survivors are delivering to you, and I mean delivering to us, because we all are work with the international media. So I think that's the important. So Kaiser Hamid, if I ask just back to you again, like what course experience you have to work with international producer or an international delegate or international any media agencies, what course experience is still you are keeping in your mind when you close your eyes, but you feel, yes, oh my god, I don't want to remember it, oh why it's happened to me. So I mean, if I ask you, like, if you have that kind of experience, you can share with us.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, the as we worked for the refugees and
And,
we
and I,
covered
I
the
also
issues.
added another question. Just I added another questions because you were from the Cox's Bazar. So what was your difficult part? Because we accepted the people, we accepted the Rohingya people, but in the meantime, because we are the host community people, and sometimes like family members, and sometimes there's a difficulties. Okay, don't go, don't work. So there's a lot of things happen to the peoples also. So what was your struggle part on that context?
Okay, so thank you. Actually, if I share my worst story, the working with groups, actually, as I worked as a local producer with many national international agencies, so I don't like to mention anyone, but I'd like to share one worst story that actually I worked with one the female journalist from the X country. So actually, if I say that the we media people, actually the who are working for media and covering the issues, anyway we earn money, or the we get salary selling our photo, selling our documentary, that stuffs. So if I want to work here, so if I like to work here, firstly I have to respect the people, and I have to respect the culture. So right, so if I like to work other country, I have to study their culture. So what their cultures, what the things. And even, actually they're also Muslim, Bangladeshi Muslim, also Muslim, but here's a bit different between their culture and our culture. So, and sometimes when sometimes some journalists ask me that, okay, Kaisa, let me know that what types of clothes I need to wear during going to the camps. That time I advised them, suggested them, okay, wear it, and this is the security issue. This is not to talk much, and the children will say you hi, hello, just the things. So, but later what I have experienced that actually sometime I saw some pictures of taken by the some international journalists that actually of the women. So it was like not a good pictures. Yeah, sometimes we have to publish the pictures, but for the sake of the some humanity, for the sake of the safety and security and dignity. So sometimes we can blur their face, or we can show their face without, so that no one can recognize who is she. So, but this kind of the picture capturing, I saw that by some international media. And so firstly, and also, and I
So
have to just,
if or she take the consent from the survivors,
so
she
actually,
have taken
yeah.
the consent.
So
Yeah.
so if I say that actually the most of the journalists did not take the consent from them. Just it was the like the verbal consent. So I don't believe the verbal consent. So they have to take the signature that, okay, are you able to do it? And even
Okay, so
sometimes
but there's a but I have a questions on that. But there is a lot of, I mean, not everyone survivors are not able to signature even. So how they will
yeah.
ensure the I mean, written consent?
So at least they can use the thumbprint. They can use the
Okay.
thumbprint. Yeah.
Okay.
So a stamp they can use it. Okay. So, but the even sometime I saw that someone just motivating them to
Okay.
talk to them, though the survivors don't like to talk to them. But sometimes somewhere they have been forced. So the things. So if I say another story that what I
They have been
covered,
forced, Kaiser. They
sometimes,
have been
sometimes.
forced. Okay.
Sometimes, yeah, by
Oh my
convincing.
God.
Anyway, they convinced sometimes. And also, if I say that actually, I covered one story, the one the Myanmar war criminal. Actually, it was lead story of the New York Times in 2018. So actually, it took the more than 7 days to talk to the Rohingya and to interview them. And so it was the story of the war criminal, and it was the headline of the New York Times of the day. And so basically, it was also the my lifetime experiences, the how a people the kill his neighbor actually, and how even they have a good friendship between
Mm,
them, but
mm.
for the things actually they uh, kicked someone, they kicked each other, and they murdered each other, and they slaughtered each other. So this is the things. And also, so when I heard the few speech from
Mm.
the survivors, actually it was really terrible.
Yeah.
As Sweetie already shared that actually it was too tough to translate their feelings. Actually, yes,
Mm.
I just I understand the language. I can realize, I can feel the things or the
Mm.
emotions. But when I am translating, that time I cannot translating my emotion. Just I'm translating my words only. So that
Mm.
time, so it was really the hard things that actually even the in the day actually the war criminal came to the village early in the morning, and they had a one picnic, the
Mm.
killing one cow, and the cow was come from the host village. And then the things were started, the persecution was started. So these are the things.
Yeah.
And another question here was like that, as I'm from Cox's Bazar, I worked for the Rohingya issues, and I worked for the some international NGOs and the local NGOs and the national NGOs. Yeah, actually, 2017 and 18 I worked for mostly the in the issues, and later I worked for some NGOs. And so, but I did not work any the permanently, just it was the freelance work. So
Mm.
some, but I did not listen such kind of comments, especially from my friends, my neighbors. They're not telling me that, okay, you don't go there, they are just bullshit. If I say that actually this is, if we think this is the crisis of Cox's Bazar, it will be wrong. This is
Yeah.
not the crisis of Bangladesh. Even this is the crisis of the world. So if we just we just cry, we are shouting from here, it's not possible, because of this is the long time solving matter. So if the sometimes the one issue was that actually last year when there was big gathering during the past, they are observing the second anniversary
Yeah,
actually,
25 August. Yeah.
as a genocide day. So in that time also, the we Cox's Bazar people actually, definitely I have to respect my country, and I have to tell that many things wrong. Then I have to protect my country, and of course this is the very small country, and this is the small district. We cannot take the overload of 1 million people. So, but what the things actually, we should try criticize, but it should be constructive way. So
Yeah,
so
I
that
mean,
the it
not spreading any hate speech.
Yes, just yes, of course everyone has a rights to criticize, but you have to criticize in a constructive way. So but what I in latter, the situation is called, so that's why
Yeah.
in this time we have to cooperate with government, we have to cooperate with the government administration, local administration, and how can we solve the issue. And even if I Kaiser want to solve the problem, it's impossible. If the Cox's Bazar, if even Bangladesh want to solve the problem, it's impossible. So it will be, it's like a
Yeah, I
teamwork,
mean,
and it,
it's really need
yeah,
to more bilateral engagement, more diplomatic
yeah,
engagement of the other countries.
yes,
Yeah, and I feel
yeah. This is
I'm
the
also
thing.
feeling the same thing. So if I asked Abdullah Mamoon, and I also know like you have been also work, so there's a lot of different experience you have, and you started the initiative. So if I ask you like the people, most of the people are, there's a lot of different criticism of those who are working in the ground, and there's a lot of people those who are come from different areas, so they're also talking a lot of things about the people working on the ground as a fixer, as a translator. So if I ask you what was your worst experience, and what things you learned from the people those who came to cover the international crisis.
Uh, uh, the first story, the day when I first went to the border and with the initial communication, I think he is the best photographer in this context, and his aerial view video has gone viral in the world media and the BBC and the UN organization. And we started our journey at very dawn, and like 4 a.m., and we went to the border, and he flew the drone, and the refugee were at the border, and they cannot come inside. The border guard has stopped them to the permission of the higher authority. And then he took some aerial view shot of some photograph from Anjuman Para border, and the one guy
Yeah, I think maybe there's a Mamun. Are you here? Are you hearing me?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Please continue.
The one guy just came holding a baby girl, and her eyes were swollen. Then the photographer asked what has happened to her, and he said that when we are coming to the border by the hills, and she has hit by trees, and what has happened to them, and he said that they have experienced the worst horrible experience when they are coming. Their neighbors, their neighbor locality came to attack them, and the military attacked them, shot them, burned their, even the gang raped. And one of the nicest girl among them who was taken to another place, and she was raped. And this kind of horrible experience they explained to us, and it was like the uh, most shocking experience to my life, and when I have been working in the Rohingya context.
Yeah, I think so. So, Sweetie, if I ask you, like, and everyone has a different kind of experience to cover the crisis. So, when you first heard about the Rohingya crisis, and when you first did your assignment in the ground, because everyone, when even during the after the 2017, like people know exactly what's happening, and after the 2017, people are exactly coming to cover that. But the Rohingya crisis is happening like 1982. I mean, during the Citizenship Act, there's a lot of like old era. The situation was like old arrivals, new arrivals, and also the middle arrivals. So the most of the people cover the exodus of new arrivals. So what was your experience, and what you basically learn from the people, those who you work with? Because we know that this is the, I mean, one of the city, I mean, in Cox's Bazar, the most of the people, those who first time visited even Cox's Bazar, even first time visited in Asia. So what was your experience, and what was your struggle part?
Uh, Actually, you are right. The people mostly came here, like the journalist or international organization authority came here, and they started to cover the stories of the new arrivals, and they are very busy to uh, write down the stories, the sufferings of the new arrivals, what they have been gone through. But they literally didn't, I even didn't work with the old refugees. Like nobody came here with an assignment and offering me that, okay, let's go and get some stories of old refugee. So while I was working, I have worked with lots of journalists, freelancers, and also yeah, as you said, some celebrities also. So
Yeah.
the thing I have learned from the international journalists, they are really, I really respect their thoughts and the way they want to spread the news, the sufferings of the people to the world. I really like that one. But there are some, you know, as Kaisar Bhai mentioned, that we have some cultures. People need to learn that some of the journalists are really good to maintain the cultures. They always didn't think about their program, their project, like their boss have been ordering them that I want these kind of stories, though they are not here to see the people, they are in the country, foreign country, but they are ordering their agencies or freelancer that I want this specific stories, because other newspaper have published this one, this heart touching story, so I want someone also like this, so that my newspaper get, famous among the readers. So there are some journalists who are also trying to do that, and trying to meet the target of their bosses. But there are some other journalists who try to respect the culture of Rohingya, and also respected the dignity of Rohingya women. Even there are some times when women were crying a lot, and while they were memorizing the sufferings what they have been gone through. uh, then a woman was crying a lot, and then I said, do you think should we go further? I was like, I was not being able to even interpret what she was describing, because her son was cut it into pieces. So she was just remembering that, and she was crying. Her husband was cut down at her side, and also her youngest daughters got raped. So then I saw to the journalist, and I started to ask them, do you want to continue asking questions, or what do you want? Do you want your stories, or do you want to consider her emotions? And then she was like, she thought for a while and then said, okay, uh, it's totally up to her. If she wants to tell something about the sufferings she have been gone through, if she want to stop, I don't want to ask further question. I just want to ask what she wants now as a justice, and the way, like this kind of thinking, and then the cooperations and compromising and sacrificing make, like, yes, they have also dignity, they have also their right to get
Sweetie, if I ask
respect
you the
from
also
us.
then the question, if I added like how you basically conducted the people, because when you first got the assignment and somebody came to you and wrote a mail say, hey, Sweetie, so can you please find out these survivors? I would like to do an interview. I'd like to conduct interview. So I mean, because that time it was not. I mean, right now the situation is so okay, and the camp is so organized. You can come and there is a look some identification, so you can find out. But it was not that organized before, and it was kind of mismatched that time. So how when you first did the assignment, when you first arrived in the camp, and what was your struggle part to figure out the survivors?
Well, in that case, it was really hard, as you mentioned. It was really hard to get the stories that journalists wanted. Like they had some clue that I want this kind of story. If you have this kind of link, please take me there. There were some demands like this, and I was really still I don't get why they are here with some notes that they want this kind of specific stories, because the sufferings is not difference, for person based. There are lots of things which are happening with even general people. But the first time I was there and a journalist was asking me to get someone who has been raped, in Myanmar. That was really ridiculous, because someone is asking me to find out a girl who has been raped, you know and then I was saying that this is my first time. I never search for any girl, or I don't have any contact, because I really don't want to keep any contacts of that girl, because sometimes they can feel that I have been raped, and journalists are coming again and again to ask me and reminding me the situations. So I never take the numbers or contact details. Even I try to forget the location where I went, because I don't want to bother people. And that time I was like, I don't have that um, contact or something. And then I directly told her that I don't have contact, though I knew some of the women. As I was working with Medical Teams International, there were some survivors whom I helped to get treatment. I knew their address, but I told her directly that I don't know anyone. I know, yeah, I lied to her, but it's like sometimes it creates mental pressures. So then she managed her one of Rohingya friend who lives in Camp 12 right now, and then he helped her to get the woman, and then I went with her and interpreted the sentences. Oh my God, the horrific
Yeah, I mean,
sentences. What?
this is the professionalism of reporters or journalists, because they need to those who are reported, they need to cover something which is, because right now world know about the situations through them, through you, because the around the world, suppose those who are living in Europe and also the another part of the world, they don't know exactly like what's going on, what's happening here, and what exactly happened inside in Myanmar, what exactly happened inside in the camp, and what are the situations of the people. So I think because of that, and because of that professional approach, maybe they are, and the people really need to cover, because this is the job of a journalist, and to know, and definitely they are maintaining the confidentiality, and also to try to get the consent. But the people, those who are working in the ground, like you, Kaisar, and Abdullah Mamoon, so it's sometimes very tough, and I know, like, to cover, and in a moment, like, try to figure out the person, and within 1 million people. So I think
Yeah,
that's kind of
and
yeah. If
in
you
that case,
yeah,
I try to prioritize the interest of the survivors, because sometimes the survivors feels very shameful and they try to speak. As women, if I get raped, even I will feel shameful that to tell people. That's why for the rape victim cases, I always try to prioritize their interest. And that time I felt
definitely.
that those survivors are not ready to talk about their raped story. So that's why I didn't mention them. I really know that I appreciate the way the journalist worked, and they have shown the world the real story what happened in Myanmar. I really appreciate that, and I also support that. Even I have interpreted so many stories, but that in that cases the interest
Yeah,
of survivors
definitely.
really matters a lot.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I
this is even this is also the matter of as a human right. I mean, according perspective of a human rights, because every person has a right to express like how they will cooperate. It's up to basically it's up to the survivors. If they'll cooperate, it's okay. If they'll not cooperate, just leave it. It's kind of this kind of situations. So Kaiser Hamid, we know that around, in my idea, like around 50 or 70 interpreter or professional local producer who work inside in the ground. And right now, what about them? and how right now they are utilizing, and how you utilizing your skill which you had experience with international journalists. Because even from Dhaka, even from around the country, there's not just an opportunity to work with just international peoples or international agencies. Like, so this is an opportunity also for the peoples, and how people are utilizing regarding their experience. And you can also share me the quantity.
Yeah, well, so thank you. Yeah, definitely like me, the more than 50 translator, local producer, interpreter, or the work for covering the issues. So, and if I talk about my side, okay. So if I talk about the other side, actually, some of them, actually, they have been engaged in full-time job. They have been working in the UN. They have been working in the INGO, national NGO, and local NGO. They're working. And so if I tell my about, actually, that yeah, also I work with many national, international agencies and NGOs, but right now I switched my profession, actually. Yeah, so but I worked with international photographer and the producer and journalist, and what I learned from them, definitely I cannot deny that what I learned from them, because of they are more than 20 years, 15 years, 10 years experience working in the issues, and working the covering the issues and the things that. So and then, actually, if I tell that, so right now I am initiating uh, one thing, that to develop our youth, actually, to make them skilled and to know the world, and how, if they need to do the career, what types of skills they need. Just I'm initiating that. So, and also some of them, actually, they are working in, already I said that, work in UN, like Sweetie join in UN. So other staffs also doing the good job, definitely. And so actually, but definitely, if I tell that, actually, mm, we had so many youths in that time, but all the youth did not get the opportunity. Here's the one reason. What questions can be raised there? Actually, all the time when I was in a language club, all the time we were telling that people, that our especially friend, that please be prepared yourself. Anytime you have to work on the ground. So actually, who are prepared by their skills, so they have been able to work, and later those who are prepared, they did not get the opportunity to work. So especially and if I tell that right now, if I get the jobs again, I can't, because of I have been engaged in my initiative. But if the anytime anything can be happen. So right now, if again the journalists come to Bangladesh and cover the issues and any issues, actually, who are prepared right now, they will grab the opportunity. So I would like to request our youths, actually, that who are going to finish their graduations, so that they can
I
practice
mean,
their
especially from the
language.
those who are from Cox's Bazar.
Yeah, they are those from the Cox's Bazar, so that they can grab the opportunity. Otherwise, so the opportunity will be taken by other people. So
Yeah,
this is the
yeah,
things.
yeah, Mamun. If I ask you, like, and there's a lot of issues when you were working with the international agencies and also the reports. Sometimes there, when you like after this, after struggling inside the ground, and then you saw that like there is a report published, and there is a headline and there is a byline of yours, and what was your feeling the first time? And secondly is, I mean, do you think like how better can journalists, those who are work inside in the ground and will come to work in Cox's Bazar or Bangladesh, and how they can approach properly and perfectly to the people, those who are working hard inside in the ground? What might they can do better, Mamun?
After long time the covering their story, then one news is published in the international media. The feeling made our life make us happy, so much happy that we have worked with him and our news is published. And those who are away from Cox's Bazar, out of Cox's Bazar, across the Bangladesh, they could not get easily that kind of opportunity. Uh, Easily saying that they have like their dream is to work with the Al Jazeera, New York Times, and so many famous organization. And if they saw some journalists in the channel, or they saw some of the Bangladeshi correspondent, then hey, can I take a selfie with you? And that experience with working with them is easy for us, and we are habitual with it, that we have worked and our friend, colleague, and work with so many organizations, and we are habitual with this. And if any journalist came to our in the Rohingya context, or in covering the story of the Bangladesh, they have to be like culturally sensitive, and know the culture, how to and firstly take consent of the survivor, and be to wear sensitive cloth, and they know the cultural sensitivity to take cover their stories and publish it to the international media.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it's not possible for them most of the times, like okay, getting all kind of knowledge exactly, like what is the scenario of the ground. So that's why they are hiring the local producer, and so that they understand from the local producer what exactly they need to do, what direction they need to go. I think that's also the responsibility of the local producer, those who working the ground, to perfectly give the directions to the peoples. So there is a comment like Dipon Dash, and he wrote like, glad to see two amazing person, Kaiser Hamid and Mahbub Akhtar Sweetie. So I
Thank
think
you.
this is an amazing, and thank you Dipon Dash, and thank you Son Pencil from African BDBD camp. So yes, so Sweetie, and we know that one of the things, like you was a headline once, and when the Priyanka Chopra, I mean if I'm not wrong, like Priyanka Chopra, when she was in the camp,
And
and like there
she's
was a show.
cousin
Okay,
of
so
Priyanka
people say
Chopra.
that like Priyanka Chopra is your cousin, and if you don't mind, like, I mean, how do you feel, and what was the story, and what about she? Like, they are the celebrity. They are used to meet with the people. They are used to communicate with the people. When you was with her, and that moment, how she treated you, and what was your experience with her? Definitely, you can share with more better stories also, please.
Yes, I was really nervous when I heard that I am going to work with Priyanka Chopra. Like Kashim Bhai called me from CBL that tomorrow you are going with UNICEF team and you are going to work with Priyanka Chopra. I was like, okay, I have exam, but I don't know how will I deal with her because she is celebrity. She will have lots of people, followers with her. But the next day I attended my exam and then I went to the royal tulip, and then after a few minutes she arrived there, and then after 5 minutes maybe, after she has been freshen up, then we went to the office of UNICEF, and then suddenly she started to talk with me. I was like, whoa, whoa, celebrities also talk with general people, huh? Then she said, how am I, and she just asked me like, do Bangladeshi people speak in Hindi or understand Hindi? Then I said yes, most of them, because they don't understand, like they don't understand only, they also can speak in Hindi. Then she was like, she was so happy because I even know Hindi language, and she was starting all the time, like the journey I was working with her, she spoke with me in Hindi, and then she was very nice. She suddenly accepted me as a friend and started to speak like, oh, I know Bangladeshi people, even I know, I have experience in Kolkata that Bangladeshi people don't make crowds and they don't come near to me, they just ask for selfie or pictures from far, like keeping distance. Then I was so happy that she's praising Bangladeshi people. But suddenly, when we went to the Shamlapur, we had very unfortunate situation. Like someone went on her, like close to her, and she was very annoyed by that situation. But without this, she had very good experiences in the Rohingya refugee crisis. But I was really trying to make distance from her because sometimes people say that people want to be very close to the celebrity so that they can get viral. So I was always trying to maintain distance, but she is the one like, Sweetie, come here. Why are you? Like in Hindi, she was telling that. क्यों दूर रहती हो हमेशा. mere paas aao, like this kind of situation. Like she was still saying that I come here, why are you keeping distance? But she doesn't know that why I was trying to making distance. And the very great thing I really liked is like when she was in a learning center, she tried to maintain the level with the children, which every people cannot do. Like it take times to get free with the children, for a man or for a woman. But she suddenly took place inside the children, and she started to play with them, like train. There were some exercise of brushing teeth and checking nails. She was like, oh, I have very weak nails, I am disqualified. And she herself moved from the queue and said that she is disqualified because she has very long nails. Yeah, so this was very good journey with her. She was very frankly and was trying to having lots of connection with children more than the adults. She loved children's, what I can see. I don't know, but she always also is talk about the children in her speech. Whenever she give any motivational speech, I follow her. So I really like that one, and she maintained that one while she was
I
in
think
the
it will be
journey
really
of.
amazing. Like if anyone from the UNICEF, like if anyone close from the Priyanka Chopra, if she will, able to watch our show, I think she will really be happy to listen all the good words from you. And I think that's really amazing. Like how. This is an important also when you will be like in that such a place, like you have to be maintains, and also you have to be communicate. Very politely with the peoples, and sometimes most of the people try to do, and most of the people also, not able to do because they know their situation better than us, so they know how to handle. And especially the people like those who work at Cox's Bazar, they have an experience with a lot of peoples, even a lot of celebrities, even a lot of international politicians, and also the diplomats. So people are, those who are professional working the ground, they don't have that intention to take a selfie and to be viral. And I think so, Kaiser Hamid, I will ask you that this will be the next end of the questions round to everyone. So if I'll ask you, like, still you have a communications with the people who are working with you, and how they are communicating and how they are helping you, and what about your message to the Cox's Bazar youth people?
Okay, thank you. So if I said that already, I shared that actually I have a very good experience working with journalist and the photographer and producer. And if I like to mention someone like directly, that Tania Rashid, one of my closest producer and the journalist, the Bangladeshi journalist, American, and also the Jennifer and other. Actually, I actually, if I tell that about the Tania Rashid, and I still working with PBS News our last 4 years. Actually, just the all the story was hit by the PBS News Hour. I was the local producer with Tania Rashid, and also I worked for the Guardian and Washington Post. Actually, uh, with Jennifer Chaudhary, actually they are both still helping that communicating with international peoples. As I said that actually I initiated one the program, that in program they are giving me advice, suggestions, that okay, Kaisa, do it. And it's like the actually working with the people, we got really some good people who are sacrificing their things. So this is also good things. Actually, already sometimes the few minutes ago that Mounba shared that actually sometimes we have to know the culture, how to treat the foreigners. So yeah, every times we will get the opportunity, but we have to believe that one opportunity will create another opportunity. So when we will get the opportunity, that time we have to use it very positive way. So yeah, definitely they are foreign people, they are from different country, they have a good connection, they have a big connection, they have a very good the things. So but uh, as I'm using them in my sake of the things, actually I'm using them also. When they were here, I did a lot for them. So this is the things. So that's why when we get opportunity, we have to use it in very honest way and positive way, so that you can keep the good relation between us. Yeah, sometimes if I tell that, like me, many of them, many of us that worked with them, the many journalists, but still we don't have the good communication with them. But from my side, actually I have so many people still who are communicating with me, but I'm not working with them last 1 year, but they're still in a good communication. So I'd like to request all the Cox's youth especially, that actually uh, opportunity will come, This is the continuous process, and here and there. And obviously, if I say that the Rohingya crisis is not a only one opportunity, we have a big government project in the Maheshkhali, in other side. The big project are in Cox's Bazar. So if I am capable, if I keep prepared myself with the stuff like skills development, other things. When I know very well, you know very well what the things, everyone knows very well that what things I need to do the jobs, and I get the jobs. So I'd like to request all the courses by the youth. Actually, definitely we need first graduation, we need our study finished. Then we have to think about our career, and definitely today tomorrow you have to engage with them with it.
Yeah.
So passing good time in skills development is a outstanding investment for the time. So these the things.
Yeah, I think Kaisar Hamid, I mean, I may agree with you also because I think both of you are graduated, and also I think this is also important things like, and we also heard that a lot of students, they are just drop out because they just want to do the job and try to, I mean, they are
Earn
involving
money.
with earning money, and they are also have an attraction to get the cash, you know. So this is also the matter. So one of the comment from Umar Abdullah, he said, how unfortunate we Rohingya still are that even we could not be willing to listen our honorable panelists, not could be expressing our concern on discussions due to not internet access. So Umar Abdullah Bhai, I'm sorry to say that this is not our basically the concern, and the government and authorities about their decisions. And we also believe that and getting information is a one kind of aid, and I think every people has a right to get the information, but this is not our concern. This is a concern of the governments and also the authorities, and we are not authorized to say anything else on behalf of that. So Abdullah Mamun, if I ask you like, what things, so as far as the Kaiser was sharing about the process and also key techniques to keep continue the communications with the international peoples, and what do you think like when you talk or when you first communicate with the people or international people and also journalists, and what things all the time need to keep in your mind when you first communicate and how you are utilizing that network?
Yeah.
uh, I think there's a problem. So I think, and we will add the Abdullah Mamun when he will be here. So sweetie, if I ask you the same questions, and I think CEO also heard, and also another question is like the most of the international people first they want to know the culture of Bangladesh. They want to know the culture of Cox's Bazar. So through our work, through our cooperation, how we can represent our country, how we can represent our culture, and also how you are utilizing your network and what things also need to keep in mind. There's a lot of questions. Yeah, you can answer flexibly.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you
Okay,
from
okay. First
last
question
30
is
seconds.
how through our work, because we are working as the people, those who are working as a local producer. So through the work, how local producer can represent the country, can represent the country culture.
Well, representing the culture of our own country, our own society, the most important thing is like be honest and be frank, because sometimes we saw that like I even have some experiences that people are trying to show off the cultures of um, our country and society and saying that we do this, we do that, but sometimes, not sometimes, every times the culture is not bounded with a person or with you or with me. It is bounded with the whole society, or it is bounded with the whole representative of our every origin, every state. So while I was working with lots of international authorities, or the journalists or the people who are not from this country, I really tried to, well, they are really excited to know the cultures of Bangladesh, cultures of especially Cox's Bazar. Then I really tried to tell them through my work, like the way the Cox's Bazar people are leading their life, and how they what kind of things they really celebrate occasionally, and what kind of beliefs they have inside them while we are working. Are we hurting any of the cultures, like we are doing any conflict between the interest of our cultures or the things which are doing with Rohingya people. Are we, breaking any cultures or any or any creating any conflicts between the cultures and the things we want? So while I really think that for representing the cultures of our country while working with international organization, be frank and try to not do not try to represent your beliefs only. Try to respect and we should try to tell them the beliefs of the whole society or whole region, where people express their trust, where people express their respect, and where people hold their dignity.
Yeah, I think this is very important, not representing the individual interest and rather than representing the whole society and the people interest. And what about your message to the Cox's Bazar young people and those who work and has an experience? And right now, the people, those who are facing a lot of problems, and sometimes people are traumatized, not getting a job that much, and those who are trying to do. And what about your message for the Cox's Bazar young people, even for whole Bangladeshi young people?
I think the network is not working. I'm not
Yes,
hearing
are
you.
you hearing me? Like, what about your message for the people? What about your message for the people, according to your experience and the experience you have, and what about your message for the people?
What will be my mass?
Message, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
sure.
still couldn't catch you.
Yeah, sure. So, okay. So basically, like you learn, you had an experience with a lot of peoples and a lot of international peoples, and you communicate and you also represent. So, what about your message? Maybe we are not able to getting both of them. Maybe there's a network problems, and we'll try. So, yeah, she's back, and okay, no problem. So, sweetie, what about your message for the young generations?
For young generation,
Yes, yes. I mean, your message. What about your message for the young generation?
for the young generations,
Yes, yes,
regarding representing the culture,
yes.
well, I really love the way the young generation are growing up in this century,
Mm,
but I really think that the way we are growing up, somehow we are not being honest to our cultures. I'm not telling that people are not respecting our culture, because I really don't like to be saying someone negative person who are throwing the perspective of own. But I really think that if the young generation are the way they are growing up, if they try to find out the root of the culture of our uh,
mm.
country, our the persons who are carrying these cultures, these things, if they try to find out the roots, and if they try to promote those roots of the culture, then I really think that the next 20 generation will be very curious and will be very helpful to get the root and to get a better situation in this like modern sensory, I must say, modern era.
Yeah, I think, yeah, thank you. And this is very amazing. So, Kaisar Hamid, if you want to say something last, like anything, I feel I didn't ask you, but you feel you need to share to the peoples because you are one of the amazing young leaders from Cox's Bazar and has a wonderful contributions. And I think, yeah, if you want to say something for the last few words, then I think you can.
Yeah, so it was really great pleasure for me to be with you in the live. Actually, though, if I said that, I'd like to give you thank first time that actually you are exploring the Cox's Bazar, and even you are exploring the Cox's Bazar youths, and you are empowering our youths. Yeah, what you have actually the from my side, actually what I can do that this is my responsibility to do it for the society. So you are doing very good job, definitely. So in this time actually, as I'm working with young generation and youths, So right now the situation is not good, especially, and then we are passing the very hard time for the COVID-19. So and also we can use it in the good way, and we can utilize our time in developing ourselves, skills development, and even study for our jobs and our government job or private jobs, because of the situation will be so harder after the coronavirus, because of the world economy has been collapsed in the many countries, even in Bangladesh also. So for the things, actually, if we are not prepared, I'm telling again that actually if we are not prepared, the opportunity will be taken by other one. So if I need to be prepared myself first, that I have to work on myself first, then everything will be nice, and you will never be frustrated, and you will the keep the smiling all the time, what we have right now present time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks both of you for your wonderful times. And I think what the
You
way
also.
you are progressing and the way you are doing is really, I mean, you guys are the role model for the peoples and those who want to do even from the Bangladesh. And so I think so. Thanks all of you for to be here.
You too.
And I'd like to say to the audience that during the time of lockdown, the recreation, entertainment, and the creativity is on lockdown. And we believe we are the young generation. This is our responsibility to explore the Bangladesh, to explore our own society. As far as the sweetie when she was sharing about not to show off individual interest, it's the more than we need to show up, or we need to show to the people, or we need to more believe work rather than word. And as far as the Kaiser Hamid was talking about, we need to prepare to upcoming problems, because we know the situation is not good, not only in Bangladesh, is around the world. So I should say bye bye for tonight. So the people from Cox's
Thank you.
Bazar, those who are watching us, and also the people from around the world, please stay tuned in next episode, and I hope you will be able to meet with another experienced people. And I'd like to say something especially for both of them. They are the people who really work very hard inside in the ground, and they are the people made the headlines, and they are the people who really create a lot of things, and the people those who work with them. And I believe still you are communicating with them and inspiring them. Because of your simple inspirations, they're able to do better. All the Cox's young generations who have done a wonderful job, salute all of them. And all Bangladeshi people, salute all of you. All the world people, salute everyone. Bye bye Kaisar Hamid, bye bye sweetie, stay safe, stay home. Bye bye for tonight.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.